I received an email from the Printed Armoury asking me if I would like to review their custom Hanwei Tinker hilt parts, since I reviewed the Hanwei Tinker longsword a while ago. I said that I had given it as a gift to a friend of ours and asked if it would be okay if she got it, and yep, no problem there. So I'll show you how the fittings are exchanged and her reaction at the end. To remove the guard and pommel, you need a standard hex wrench or bit, and there is a nut securing it. Let's see, right there inside of the pommel. So you just remove that, nice and easy. This may also become necessary to tighten up as you practice with it. At one point I had to add a bit of a filler here between the pommel and the grip because the grip was getting compressed from use, just enough so that there is more space again, and then I could tighten it properly. So you just remove that. Pommel comes right off. Now you can throw it. If it's too tight, you can always take a mallet. That should help get it to move sufficiently. Yep, there we go. So now the guard is on there really loose, which is typical for budget-oriented swords. It would be better if the opening in the guard was tight enough that they have to actually hammer it on top and force it onto the blade. That would make it much more secure. That way it wouldn't rely on just the compression of the handle to do that. But let's see how well this part fits. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell it is quite a bit tighter. Ideally, you would use a metal tube, put that over there and hammer it down, which I don't seem to have anywhere right now. So I'm just gonna use the handle itself and do this. I'm just gonna have to alternate from one side to the other. And by the way, don't freak out. This is actually a good demonstration that you can grip a sword even when something like this happens. The way I'm holding it right now, my palm isn't even in contact with the edge. I'm just pinching it with the fingers, which is not the strongest grip, but it's enough for this. But I'll have to clean and oil the blade afterwards. I normally don't like to touch blades with my bare hands because the oils on your skin are somewhat acidic, so they can corrode swords. And I have in fact seen rust fingerprints on blades. So, well, it looks like we're getting somewhere. And so now the pommel slips on. No, it's not going to be enough yet. So for this it's important, of course, to use a rubber mallet so you don't damage the steel. This is a really good design. The fact that he made the opening in the guard tight enough to require actually hammering it down with a mallet. You see there's still a gap there. So the grip is actually not pressing against the guard right now. But if I try to move the guard around, it doesn't really budge. So that's exactly what you want. So now I can close the rest of the gap by tightening the nut, and then we should be all good. And then the upgrade is complete. Yep, there we go. That feels good. Feels good, looks good. Yeah, nice. So here it is with the upgraded fittings. And it is quite a noticeable upgrade. These look very, very nice. If you compare the standard Hanwei Tinker guard is just this simple bar of metal. This one here is a little more fancy. It's got a more elaborate shape. It's got these lines here. It's very well shaped and polished. Also, especially the pommel. I mean, this is one of the simplest shapes you could possibly have whereas this looks a lot more interesting visually. In terms of handling, I can grab this pommel just fine. So that's nice. Personally, I very much like this. Looks really good. Just one small drawback of this, it's not flush with the top of the scabbard anymore. Just a bit of a gap. No big deal, and it's still held in properly in the scabbard, doesn't fall out. So I would say this is a pretty massive improvement. Not only does the guard fit dramatically better because it's that much tighter, it also looks better. I weighed it before and now after with these fittings, so it's now about 100 grams lighter. The balance seems to be about the same. It's actually about a centimeter more away from the guard. Okay, so what does the actual owner think?
I love it. I absolutely love it. It's fancy. It's pretty without being too fancy. It makes it look a little bit deadlier.
Just the extra lines and ridges and everything.
It does. It goes from being simple, basic weapon to being slightly more personal.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah, the standard one just looks kind of like this simple mass-produced version, which of course it is. That's exactly what it is.
But it's fantastic.
This just looks more custom now.
It does. I don't want to hit myself. Sharp blade plus my face is not a good idea.
Yeah, we don't need that.
I love it. And we noticed earlier that it was a little bit lighter than the original one,
but just on the scale.
Yeah, like negligibly.
I can
really
feel it, and you?
No, not at all.
That's just balance is still almost exactly the same. It's a centimeter difference. And 100 grams difference, you can't really tell.
No, not really at all.
Certainly I can't. And yeah,
but
it looks
I love
good.
It. I love it. Thank you.
So yeah, thanks Mike at Printed Armoury.
Thanks Mike!
That was really awesome. Very, very nice work. It fits really well. And he actually said they recently changed the shape of the guard because a few people had a problem with it being loose and a few others had an issue with it being too tight. So of course there's always going to be some variation, but this one is exactly right. Like I had to use the mallet to get it fully on there, but now it's very secure. And that's exactly what you want. And if it's too tight, you can adjust it. You can take a Dremel or files or what have you.
Near the wall.
And you can adjust it and it'll fit properly. So, yeah.
It's lovely. I love it. Thank you so much.
Yep. There you have it. Satisfaction all around. So, nicely done.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks for watching.